look at what we've got again. They're going onto the rock. Go, little cheetah. Run, run, run. They've come right up to the car. They're moving around quite a bit. I hope they don't disappear for too much longer. So basically what they're doing is she's walking almost exactly the same route that she walked the other morning where we had our first spectacular sighting of her on the rock. If she sits down, okay, hold on. Can we reposition quickly? I'm going to go a little bit further forward. I only have to move only a meter. And I think this is her favorite hunting area that she comes through to start searching. It's also where we're very close to having the same or very similar baboon encounter. They like to sit up on some of these big trees. But now that she's sat down and after playing for so long, those little cubs must be hungry. Like I said, those bursts of energy at this age don't normally last very long. And if you've ever had a puppy or a kitten at home, you know exactly how it goes. For 10 or 15 minutes they run round and they play and they're all excited and they want to have the best time of their lives, and then they need to sleep for an hour or so. Then they pass out hard. So they've had a drink, they're going to be so full. I don't go much more. They've walked a fair distance, sprinting up and down. I think I'm just trying to reposition everything. Oh, worse. Now? Okay, there we go. Hey, my voice is not important, however, the cheetah cubs are. You can see Mom's not tolerating them suckling. Perhaps she hasn't really got any more milk in there. You can actually see, look how gaunt she is. And they're probably saying, but we're hungry, Mom. We're desperate for something to drink. But there just might not be anything left. And they'll be trying every single teat of hers to see if there's just any milk. They'll have their favorite ones. Now we can maybe see, shall we see if we can't see this one laying closest to us? Can we zoom into its tail and have a look? You see how fluffy they are? Can you see that? That's what makes it difficult to try and sex them. Oh my goodness, Shax, this is a very gloomy topic to talk about, but you've inquired about the survival rate of cheetah cubs. 10% will make it to adulthood. 90% of cubs end up not making it to adulthood, which is rather distressing, unfortunately, but this is because of a number of different factors, not only, as we've spoken about in great detail before, with cheetah being quite low on the predator hierarchy. So they are, well, they're threatened from hyenas to lions to leopards, and then of course things like baboon as well, will easily kill their cubs. And the other thing is that if they have to move their den too frequently, this is not great. They're quite vulnerable as well. I hope that you're trying to take some screenshots. I mean, we want to see if they're little boys and little girls, but it's a bit difficult. If they lift their tails up, it'll be quite nice. And then cheetah also, my goodness, they're involved in the pet trade, the illegal pet trade, which is quite sad, or wildlife trafficking trade. Cheetah cubs end up being pinched, whether they were bred in captivity or even in the wild, and sent all over the world. Oh, she got up quickly. She's tired of them. Hopefully, like I said, you've got some screenshots. And if you did manage to get a clear screenshot and can zoom in a little bit, I'd love your assistance. Even the ladies in Final Control who are directing the show, if they can see, we've got quite a bit of glare on our screens, which is not making it easy. Lift your tail up. And I don't think at this age you're really going to see the scrotum particularly well developed. But there's just so much fluff there, which is making it quite difficult. Yeah, everybody seems to be agreeing that they're just too fluffy at the moment to really be able to sex them accurately. But that's okay, we'll keep watching, and every opportunity that we get to stare at the precious rear end of a young cheetah, I'm sure none of you will complain. Yes, I do think that the cheetah cubs are the fluffiest of the cat cubs. Little lions, they're not as fluffy as this. They obviously don't have that mantle that extends all the way from the back of their shoulders and down to the bottom of their spine. Shame, that little one is very thirsty. I think Mom's going to have to work exceptionally hard today to try and catch something. Now, Alex, you've just joined us, and I'm so glad that you have just joined onto the show, that you've got this spectacular view of the cheetah. You've inquired about the mane that the little cheetah have. So for those of you that are regular watchers and do tune in every single day, there are going to be times where we have to explain things every now and then, and I know some of you have already heard it, but it's just fantastic that people from all corners of the world can join in at any time, and perhaps this is their first safari. So, Alex, it's called a mantle, like mantle, mantle, and essentially that sort of white fluff is there when they're born, and they don't have very many spots, so they almost just are black in color, and then have that white sort of very fluffy hair. It kind of makes them look like a honey badger, which is the most ferocious of all the animals in Africa. Despite its size and stature, it definitely intimidates quite a few animals and a few people. So it's to help sort of, I suppose it also helps with camouflage. Every time Alex and I, who's on camera with me today, you guys share the same name, every time we see a log that's been burnt, maybe a fire or something has gone near, we stop here thinking, yes, we've got them. So they kind of blend in to the vegetation quite well. And then hopefully that contrasting coloration will be intimidation if they were to sprint away in the grass, and maybe an animal would think that they're a honey badger of some sort. Now, there are other creatures out there that mimic other species, which I think is quite fascinating. It's like, for instance, the bushveld sand lizard mimics a 6-spot ground beetle, which shows aposematic coloration, and it only does this in is only, now I've forgot what I was talking about. So sometimes it's hard to multitask. But basically what I was saying is that there's a small reptile that mimics a beetle. They're not even the same species while they're juveniles, to fool the rest of the creatures out there so that they don't get eaten. So it kind of does happen. Nature is amazing, and sometimes we can't explain why. But I suppose as technology develops, we'll find out more and more of these things. Mum, where are you going to go? You just changing position? Yeah, not going too far. You always see those little cubs, they always look bewildered as to say, why did you get up? We weren't quite finished just yet. And then of course the little one's attentions on the sound of my voice, I think the camera moving around, and then the fact that we're in this big green machine. They're going to be very naughty, these two little cubs, I can tell you that. They're already starting to show so much personality. That's a fantastic shot there.